6 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I think we need to amend the agenda.
First item is to amend the agenda to include a report about Interact. So,
Are we going to add that at the top of the report?
yes,
Or-
it'll be the first thing that we do. And so the recommended motion is to approve amending the agenda to include a report on Interact.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And
Public comments.
yes. So are there any public comments?
No.
No. Okay. All right, we'll go on to new business. The first item is the FCS promise statement.
Actually, the first item we're going to do a report on Interact. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We're going to do
okay.
that first.
We're going to do that
I'm so sorry.
before new business. Okay.
So we
And that
have,
makes sense as well.
so we have Penny Peebler and Kyle Thompson here to discuss Interact. I want to thank you. If y'all want to go to the microphone over there, and we're not taking any action or anything on this. We're just learning about what this program is tonight.
Thank you all very much for having us. I know most of you, almost all of you. My name is Kyle Thompson. I'm a Frankfort City Commissioner. Over the last 5 months, I have been washed in learning local government and what happens in local government. One of the items that I know I ran on, one of the things that I wanted to accomplish on the city commission was to really tackle economic development in the city of Frankfort. And work with the county and things of that nature. And myself and the mayor really believe that we need to refocus what economic development meant in the new era of technology. We are very blessed in this community to have a few things that help us in that area. And in doing so, we have learned over the last 15, 16 months that people will work from home and they will work from home efficiently. So to that end, we work to get a economic initiatives supervisor executive to come work for the city of Frankfort, and that being Penny Peebler, who has years of experience in economic development and initiatives that have helped not only the city of Louisville, but also the Capital City Museum. That if you all have had any chance to take a look at what the renovations have gone on there, it's unbelievable, and we're really blessed to have that. But we have stolen her from there, and we have asked her to help us with our vision of bringing a new economy to Frankfort, Franklin County. And the reason for that is because, for the last 4 years, we've had very little growth in the way of population, in the way of jobs, and we are seeing higher rates of unemployment than the contiguous counties around us. We have some economic barriers that are preventing us from competing, and so we want to tear those down. We want to do what we can do to make things happen. In that process, we began discussing how we could create jobs, high-paying jobs, for individuals who may not be your prototypical college attendee. Folks who may need some training and may need weeks and months of training, but once they are trained, they can be valuable assets. But we were thinking of how we could provide those opportunities for not only the city of Frankfort, but Franklin County. And then we began thinking, how can we bring this project to not only Franklin Municipal District, but also to graduates from Franklin County High School and to Franklin County High School. And without further ado, I will introduce Penny. She can talk to you a little bit more about some generalizations of the project, also some specifics. We are not asking, this is not us coming to the board asking for a handout at this point or for any action with regard to funding. What we want to do is we want to introduce the program to you. We are working on some earmarks. We're working on state and federal grants that may come through that we think could help the Franklin County and the city of Frankfort. But if those don't come through, we may get back here and we may be coming to you to ask for assistance so we can get this program off the ground. The city of Frankfort is committed to making sure these projects happen, and perhaps we can do this to help Franklin County graduates. So thank you all for having us tonight, and I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Thompson, and it is good to be back home in Frankfort. I'm a native, and I've been working and living in Louisville for about 31 years. I'm married to somebody from there. Have a couple of kids in JCPS, so one's graduated now. But so we've been talking a lot about what 21st century workforce development looks like, and we've been studying workforce development programs around the state and around the country. And so one of the programs that we've been studying that we hope to be able to bring to Frankfort, and again, we'll have more information about this as the project unfolds, but I want to share with you what's been happening in Louisville in this kind of, I would say, information technology workforce development. So there's a private company called Interact who also has a foundation, Interact Foundation. It's founded by an Owensboro native named Ankur Gopal, who was the EY, Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year several years ago. He's a very enterprising young man, executive, I guess he's probably now in his 40s, but one of the things that he realized in information technology, cybersecurity, data analytics, artificial intelligence, in these fields, people are getting specialized training. It's not necessarily college degree program, it's more like a certification. And if you think about when we went to high school, there was vocational education and there was traditional college path. Because computers are a tool that we use in our daily lives for everything, this is vocational education. And so what the Interact program is, and why I am so interested in the opportunity to perhaps bring this program to Louisville, if we can pull it off, is that, and if you want to advance the slides a little bit for me there, the program is to provide upward economic mobility, and is focused on communities in need by overlooked individuals. So as the commissioner said, individuals for whom college is not going to be an immediate choice. They're not interested. It's out of their, it's out of whatever they're interested in, or whatever their wheelhouse is. So what are the jobs that are available? Exactly. So traditional coding boot camps, and I'm sure you have many of those in the Franklin County school system, they teach those foundational skills. But what Interact as a company does is kind of similar to what happens in Europe, whereas companies will take these folks who have some coding education, perhaps in high school or not, train them, and then work with them on soft skills to make sure they're client ready to go out and work in cybersecurity, data analytics. And Interact has as its clients many large Fortune 100 companies like CVS, EY, Ernst & Young. They are also, Ankur Gopal is a native of Owensboro, but he is a minority contractor. So people come in sometimes with companies on these big contracts as a minority contractor, and is able to provide services and help to fulfill sometimes requirements that are in place for meeting equity, diversity, and inclusion parameters, that may be required by certain contracts. And so what a program like the Interact Skills Program has done is it's taken those folks who have an interest and a proclivity, put them through an apprenticeship program. At the end of the program, they go into a United States Department of Labor certified apprenticeship program, and then they are hired by Interact to work in information technology. So they don't come into the program until Interact has secured those jobs. So that's how the program differs from traditional coding education, is that successful completion of the program guarantees you a full-time job with benefits with Interact. Those jobs pay in the first year as a junior developer between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. Once people graduate the apprenticeship portion, then they're earning in general $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So that's the pathway. Now, who is the target for this? Again, it's folks for whom a traditional college degree is not something that they are ready to do or have done. Scroll up a little bit there, if you will, to the next one. Sorry, down, maybe, or software training. Yeah, the next one. So with partnerships with local philanthropic organizations and companies, training is provided at no cost to students, with the ultimate goal of providing them the knowledge and skills to launch their career. Now, you might be wondering, how much does it cost to train somebody? It costs between $15,000 and $21,000 for the program, depending on the specialty. They are paid a stipend while they are in the program. So let's say if you're working a job at Starbucks, you've got a high school degree, you're making $10 an hour. You know, if you get into a program like this, when you come out at the end of the year, you can be making $40,000 a year in a career type job. And while you're in the program getting trained full time, you will be paid a stipend. So in other words, to replace whatever it is that you were earning, you know, in that job. Next one, please. Now, by partnering with employers in the area, Interact identifies the needs and the demand. So many organizations offer coding training, and even some schools, post-secondary schools and community colleges, you know, offer it. These are directly tied to jobs. So Interact never starts a training class until they have those jobs committed. I learned about the program because I spent the last few years working for a philanthropist that had committed $500,000 to this program in Louisville. That money was matched by the Humana Foundation, and they were able to put a number of people through the program over multiple years. So it's still going on. And it's been very successful. To date, I think there are 68 people who have been trained in Louisville and are working in those jobs. So that money that I mentioned, you know, that was a multi-year commitment. Next slide, please. So we would like to bring this program to Frankfort. We've been raising money privately to try to bring it here. And so again, just to summarize, as apprentices, individuals are placed in year-long engagements after that first 3-month intensive training program. They're junior developers, they're assigned under the supervision of senior developers, and there are continued job skills training opportunities where they learn those soft skills that are required to succeed in a corporate job, essentially. And then they receive the guidance and that professional development as well. It is an apprenticeship program approved by the Department of Labor. So our big vision, thank you. Next one, yeah. Our big vision is to see, 12 to 15 folks in a pilot program, see how it works. How does recruiting work? Do we have the interest here? Go ahead. And then ultimately, a big idea would be, could we see, 20 to 25 students every year? And over time, you can imagine the impact that can make in our community. 12 students, then 20 students, then 20 more, and over several years, maybe 100 people. And we're a small community, moving 100 people up the ladder would make an impact here. And so this is the type of program that we'd love to bring here. We wanted to make you aware that we're actively engaged, trying to bring something like this to Frankfort. It's not a done deal. We're out there, we're trying to raise money, we're learning about the program, we're looking at partners. Let me tell you about some of the successes for the first cohort that the Humana Foundation sponsored in Louisville. The average pre-program salary for the participants was $14,600 a year. After the program and the apprenticeship, the average range was $35,000 to $55,000. Now, artificial intelligence is at the higher end of that scale, and things like, data analytics might be in that, there's a range there. Cybersecurity is somewhere in that. The program's been offered in Louisville, Glasgow, Kentucky, and Atlanta. There were some early programs offered as well in Eastern Kentucky, and many of those folks are still working for Interact. To date, there are 86 graduates of the program working full-time for Interact and providing services for their clients, including Humana, CVS, EY, and others. So we wanted to tell you about it. We know you have a skills training program in IT within the county school system, and we hope to be able to bring this program here. So we'll see. Thank you. Can we answer questions?
I was going to ask one, now this is going to be a diverse program, it's not going to be catered to one ethnic group or anything like that, it's going to be diverse.
People will have to live in Frankfurt or Franklin
Yeah,
County.
yeah.
I mean, the idea is to get see, when they do these jobs, they do their remote work. So
Right.
you work from home. So we want these people to live in Frankfurt and Franklin County and.
The reality is that we want to reach those areas that are underserved, not only with skills training, but also ability to go to college and may not qualify for college, may not have the funds for college. And this is a program that these individuals who may have amazing technical skills and just have never had the training, we want to provide the training for those individuals. And then from going from $14,600, below minimum wage part-time job, to a full-time job with benefits, that allows them to buy a home or lease a home and buy a car. And that is across the board. That's minority groups, that's your typical standard white Americans at the same time, but it's
Low income.
Low income, and it's our job is to meet all the needs of everyone. And so we're not targeting any group, and we're never doing that. But our goal is to serve all the underserved, and this is a way to do that. And that's our major goal here.
And just to kind of, you have these programs at the high schools where people get exposed to coding and information technology. You probably have some graduates who have this proclivity, and perhaps some of them are not planning to pursue a 4-year degree. This program is not for people who are going to go to UK and become computer engineers. That's a different track.
But I will say this, piggybacking on that, the training they receive in this program is years ahead of what a computer science degree at the University of Kentucky or the University of Louisville is training them for, because they're training them for very basic, the same thing, the same technical information that they have been providing for the last 10 years. This is cutting edge stuff. This is cybersecurity. This is that data analytics. This is artificial intelligence. This is stuff that leading companies, very prominent companies need these high skilled training. So it's actually we laugh about it that these folks are going to receive training that is probably better than a 4-year education, because it's going to be
Tailored to one.
It's going to be tailored and laser focused on what this issue is, and they're going to be experts at it. And that is what we want. That's what we want to do.
So we want to bring it here, and if we're successful in being able to attract it here, we will need your help getting people into it, recruiting.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this tied in at all with the program that's in southeastern Kentucky? When the mines went out and they wanted to teach potential miners coding?
There are a lot.
Is this any?
I'm not sure. I know that they did recruit some. Employees from East Kentucky through several of the programs there, but I don't think this is specifically. There are a number of programs in Southeast Kentucky for coding and other types of,
But this is
IT.
No.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Many of those programs came from the Federal Labor Department to try to retrain. This is, while working with the federal government and such. Encore Before is, if you all can Google him, he's an amazing individual and much smarter than I am and able to think outside the box. And he is the one who came up with this idea that if we get the training for these people, then they will provide things to their community in the way of taxes and jobs and
Yeah.
buying homes and buying cars and things that will help the economy, but at the same time are providing jobs at Fortune 100 companies, which, in a little city like Frankfurt is amazing.
It would be great for people to stay in Frankfurt.
So people, if I understood correctly, people have to commit to providing the job after they graduate?
Well, the way Interact runs their training program is they don't start a training class unless they have the jobs for the people. So there are many coding programs throughout that offer training, but this one is an apprenticeship program. So when you get accepted into this program, they're gonna train you and they're gonna hire you. If you make it through the program, but yeah, so it's an apprenticeship program. It's not
Wow.
Just training.
It's intense. It's 20
I believe that's right,
20
yes.
20 weeks of intense day and night training, eat, breathe, and sleep, this training for 20 weeks. And it's not for everybody, but I believe just in my research and talking to Superintendent Kopp and other people in the community, educators as well, I think we have dozens of these kids that are in this community that could not only benefit from this, but it would be life-changing.
Well, what's the percentage of people that actually graduate and complete the program?
Well, in this particular cohort that I was referring to, 94% graduated and were employed, completed the program.
And when did it start originally?
This particular program that I'm referring to, that I'm providing these statistics on, took place, I believe it ended in 2019. So,
I was looking today, 86 graduates in the program are now working.
Yeah.
I just wondered out of that percentage, or the original percentage.
well, each class is about between 15 and 25 students. So it's, because you think about, this is not a class, it's an apprenticeship program, it's a job. And it's just one of the many economic development efforts that we're trying to bring that might be new to the community. So we want to
So
share.
what is it that you need from us?
We wanted to come and tell you about what we've been up to. I believe Superintendent Kopp was familiar with the program and with Encore Hall.
I'll be glad to talk a little bit about that. Encore met with Houston Barber and me 2 years ago with Brad Thomas, actually, an economic developer, wanting to start at that point. So there's been a lot of behind-the-scenes work for the last few years trying to make this a reality. The problem that we see, obviously, is we do have a lot of these students that this would absolutely benefit. There's just a very large upfront investment that needs to be made. And from a public school perspective, it's very challenging to raise those dollars. What we really are seeking out are some high-end philanthropic
Donations.
absolutely. And so part of this is let's start having this conversation
Yes.
about what this could do for our community, for our students. And let's find some people who are willing to support this effort, because long-term, this would be very impactful for the students and for this community. It can really help this grow. And if we have 15, 20 students every year that are making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year as a result of this program, and they're staying here, investing those funds in our community, that is a win-win situation for all of us. So it's not really that they're not coming to us right now and asking us for any money. They're really coming to us to say, here's this great program. Let's start talking about it. Let's see if we can find some people who are willing to invest in our kids.
do you have education requirements? I mean,
They have to be a high school graduate.
okay, or
GED?
Oh, I don't know about that. I would have to, but I can get back to you. I'll find out and
okay,
get
but
back to
it's
you.
not a during high school.
No.
It is absolutely not a during high school, because these are people who are gonna go out and work for these corporations.
But the high school time period would be a great time for educators and the board to identify.
Right.
I've got a 16-year-old that in 2 years is going to graduate.
Well, it sounds like it would be a great William Copefield.
Absolutely.
A lot of the William Copefield people who are already kind of choosing an alternate path
Yes.
for ending or, completing their high school, this might be.
A lot of opportunities.
Yeah, our idea is, and then this city commission, all of the city commission, is what are these new programs that are out there that we need to know about and try to bring here? What have we learned during COVID? Well, we've learned that people, as the commissioner said, can work from home. So perhaps there are other programs like this that we need to find out about and try to bring here. We are the capital city, we're the seat of government. We all know that state government employs certain contractors and things. We need to find out. That's why I was hired, as a consultant to come in and try to find these opportunities. And so this is just one, but we wanted to just let you know that we're trying to make this a reality. And
Yeah, but I'm happy to.
Okay.
so,
The other difference is that in the last 6 months, there's been a change in the guard with regard to the city commission and fiscal court, and those entities are willing to outlay some funds, some governmental funds possibly if we need to make this happen. But we want partners. We want Franklin Independent Schools. We want the Franklin County Public Schools to be partners with us and to help us find those donors to help find that money as well. And just to reiterate, in the last 18 months, we have increased our unemployment rate in Franklin County. All of the contiguous counties around us have decreased. We have a net total in 18 months of 42 jobs in Frankfurt, and most of those jobs are not high paying. So that being said, in just a short period, in just 1 year of doing this, we might be able to equal, just in this one program, the numbers that we're producing, and they'd be high-paying jobs, and they stay here in Frankfurt, and they receive skills training, and they help these overlooked populations. And so it's kind of a win-win-win, like the superintendent said, but it's one of those things where we want everybody to be involved. And when we started talking about this project, it was, do we go to the schools first? And I said, absolutely, we need to, I will make the call to Superintendent Kopp, and we will talk about it. And it was funny, I got him on the phone, and he goes, already heard the pitch, I'm all for it, but we just need to figure out how to make it happen. And I said, great, and I don't have to give you the sales speech. And, at this point, what we're looking for to answer the question is some excitement about the program, the idea that these are real jobs that we can bring to Franklin County, and the help in figuring out how to identify these students, how to figure out, do these students need something else that we don't know about to get them there, that we haven't figured out, and create that bridge between local city government and the county and the city schools. And the idea that we could have in 3 years 100 high-paying jobs at Fortune 100 companies is mind-blowing, but it would do numerous good things for the economy. And this is just the iceberg that we're working on. So we just want you all to know, we want you all to get excited about it, and we want to figure out how to take this project as it develops and where does this fit in. And that's really what we want. And we can't thank you all enough for your time and your energy and all that you do for the county schools. But you'll probably be hearing about this, and you may see it in the paper, and you may hear other things.
in the coming weeks, we're not ready now.
Yeah.
We're not ready to talk about it yet because we don't have it confirmed, but we're trying to get it here.
Right, and we
Yes.
want you all to know about it and be ready, because it may be 6 months from now, it could be a year from now, and we're like, all right, we're ready for Franklin County to jump in.
What's Toyota contributed? Have you all approached Toyota?
We have not, but what an excellent suggestion.
First of all, I just want to say, Penny, good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I'm gonna tell my mother that I saw you.
It's okay, don't say no more. Let me just say that, I appreciate y'all sharing. I think there are kids that are in our system who will benefit very strongly. And I think what one of our previous board members was saying is talking about different generations of kids. I think there comes on what we call gap. And I think those kids need that extra push to not only graduate from high school, but you all have answered the question I was going to ask, whether these students, are they in high school, but you said they're graduates. So again, that's a good way to push low income, middle class, whatever, folks to go further and make good paying jobs. So when they're doing it and use their skills strongly. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
We will bring all of our projects that we come up with that can benefit the Franklin County Public Schools. We will bring them, very excited to you all as they become more available. Like I said, the last 5 months have been a whirlwind, but things are happening. And I know that is one of the sometimes in this town, but they are. And, it may take more than 6 months, but we're gonna get them. And this is just one part.
I think Thornhill and Belleville, they have a lot of, resources that you may need in as far as, a place to be able to do that. I know when I was on board down there, we done a lot, tried to get those programs, some of those other programs in place.
That's
I was
great.
thinking about Deloitte, some, they're a big company that's all done and they're starting to all work from home. now.
Yes.
That would be a great, and they're good.
That's a great target, isn't it? You've given us 2 great ideas tonight. Toyota and Deloitte.
And thank you for including us and bringing this to us. We really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
And appreciate your time tonight. So I think we're all excited about the possibility.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. It's good to see everybody. All right.
All right, moving on to the first item of new business is the FCS promise statement.
This year, the FCS Promise Committee comprised of certified and classified staff representing the entire district and led by Tracy Klein, Matt Osborne, and Jennifer Perkins as part of their leadership development, met throughout the year to develop a promise statement to supplement our mission and vision. Our mission and vision are not changing, but what we decided that was needed was for us to make a promise to our students, to our families, to our community. And upon adoption, we will be sharing this promise with all of our parents, students, and community members. This will help establish our goals in the development and the development goals for a multi-year strategic plan. What the committee came up with was the following language. This is the longer version, and then there's a short version. And we love it because our mission, as you know, is kids first. And there is not a better mission in the state. I love that. But this is our promise. FCS will provide an inclusive and equitable learning environment, will develop the whole child, and will prepare every student for success. So the short version of our promise is every student succeeds. And that is what the promise statement is. The recommended motion then is to approve the FCS promise statement.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. I think it sounds good.
I think it sounds good, I have.
Okay, sure.
It really does sound good, but one question I have is, maybe it's too early to bring this question in, is, how we are buying into, because we believe that every student is important. But how are we going to get the parents and the community to buy into the state?
I'm going to talk about that a little bit
Okay.
in my.
Yeah, that's okay.
Great, thank you. And I want to also say thank you to Matt, Tracy, and Jennifer. They did a tremendous job leading this work throughout the year.
All right, if there's nothing else, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next item is donation for Franklin County High School archery team.
Donations for valued at over $1,000 or $1,000 or more must be approved by the board. Please see attached donation form for the Franklin County High School archery team. The recommended motion is to approve the donation to the FCHS archery team.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
Actually, one
Make a motion.
So
Is there a second?
Justin.
Oh, okay. Justin, second, okay. I like donations that value more than $1,000, so. Anybody else? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right. Next item, revised 2021-2022 board meeting schedule.
The revised board meeting schedule is attached for your approval. The July 12th regular meeting has been updated to July 6th of this year. And that will be the last board meeting, at least for the foreseeable future, hopefully. That will be a hybrid meeting. Beginning in August, we're going to move to all in-person meetings. The recommended motion is to approve the revised 2021-2022 board meeting schedule as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And any questions?
So, July the 6th, so we're not gonna have two meetings in June.
No.
Okay, but
That's a
we will be
Tuesday.
able to be hybrid on the 6th, correct?
Yes, and that way, we also realize that that's the July 4th week. And if anyone has a problem, because they may be out with the family or whatever, we can absolutely make that accommodation.
All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, next item is first reading of the 2021-2022 policy and procedures update.
Huge thank you to Rebecca Roberts for helping pull all of this together. I really should say that for every single meeting with everything that she does for us. This is our first reading of our policy and procedure updates that we received from KSBA. There is no motion needed to be taken. These are just updates that have been recommended by the Kentucky School Board Association, and they're attached for the first reading.
All right, the next item is KETS, offer of assistance.
Attached for your review and approval is the FY21 KETS that's offer of assistance. Accepted State Technology Fund offers of assistance must be matched equally by the Board of Education. The amount to match is $118,971. The recommended motion is to approve the federal year 21 KETS offer of assistance as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. This is what we get every year.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it just matches our money.
Yes, exactly. So it allows us to, when we spend $118,000 on technology upgrades, we get $118,000 from the state. So it allows us to kind of get double what we would normally be able to receive.
And this is something that we need anyway.
Yes, when we have, and this year showed us more than anything with the laptops and Chromebooks and the Wi-Fi. It's a constant running battle to continue to update those machines, and this helps us.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. 21-22 salary schedule.
Attached for your review and approval are the 2021-2022 salary schedules. We approve these every year prior to July 1. The recommended motion is to approve the 2021-2022 salary schedule as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions? All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. And then 21-22 school activity fund budget.
And this is another one of those things that we approve every year. Attached for your review and approval are the 2021-2022 school activity fund budgets. The recommended motion is to approve the 21-22 school activity fund budgets as presented.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right. Any questions? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, reports to the board.
The April monthly financial report is attached for your review.
Do we have to approve that? No, okay. And then the superintendent's report, or the superintendent's personnel action?
Personnel actions taken since the last meeting of the board are presented for your information.
And reports from school counselors.
The draft minutes from the school-based decision-making councils are presented for your review.
And instructional services.
Charlotte.
Feels so good to be back.
Face to face.
Yeah.
So happy Monday. I have a lot to share, just little details, no attachments, this time around. But what I wanted to update you on first was summer school. And some of our schools started last week on Tuesday, a couple of them. And then we had the majority of schools start this week, and then Franklin County High School starts June 14th. Right now, and these are preliminary numbers, we have 1,249 kids enrolled in summer school, 537 at the elementary, 267 at the middle school, and 445 high school students. About 20% of our total enrollment.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Now, I'm not sure that all those kids are going to show up. Last week, attendance ranged from 60 to 86%. So they got them enrolled, parents said they would come, but then some didn't come. So we're on the phone tracking them down. I've heard many shout outs to Brad McKinney and Tanya Case and the bus drivers. We just keep getting compliments about how well they are running the busing and making sure kids get on the routes, even when they miss their deadlines. And so we've been trying to take care of that. So we're super appreciative. And also Wendy in Food Services is doing a great job to make sure the kids have meals and summer feeding programs are up and running. So I wanted to let you know in July when I come back, I'll present some pre-test data. We are doing a quick test of some initial data, and then we'll report at the end of 8 weeks the post-test data. So in July, you'll have a pre-test so we can kind of see where they all are performing and then what happens at the end of 8 weeks. So that's the summer school update, but I cannot say enough what a great closing to school we had this year. Graduation week was just left us all feeling super positive. We attended the Academy graduation, Cofield, Western Hills and Franklin County. And then we met with the admin team the Friday before graduation. And we welcomed the new principals. There was such an exciting vibe in the room. And it may have been related to the closing of school, but it just felt good to be in the room with each other. And I think everyone's ready for a comeback in August. Mr. Fletcher, you asked about every student succeeds. And so you've approved this promise statement tonight. And so now we kick off what we do next. We are doing some retreat planning with administrators, and we know that they will need to be the ones who kick this off in their building. But what our public relations person is going to need to do is kick off a campaign where every student succeeds. And I'm envisioning a social media campaign. What does that look like in actionable steps? And so for me, every student succeeding, it means that each and every child we know by name, strength, and need. Doesn't matter where they go to school. It doesn't matter what they need. We're going to make sure we work to provide it and we respond appropriately. So that, to me, it sounds simple, but that's an actionable step that we can take. But I want to hear from parents, grandparents, students. Kristen will go out at summer school. She'll talk to folks. She'll talk to kids. What does that look like for every student to succeed? And then we want to share that at retreat because I want our principals to hear. What does that look like as a grandparent for you to say that kids go to Franklin County schools and they will succeed? What's that mean to you? Because we need to hear their voices and understand that it looks different for everyone. So that's what I'm thinking is where we'll begin. Tonight, you may have already approved the new policy revisions. Have we done that? The first reading. So the equity policy is a new policy for us, but it's about opportunity and access for everyone. And the best analogy that sticks for me when we think about diversity, equity, inclusion, is diversity is a dance that we're all able to attend. Inclusion is everyone gets the invitation to the dance. And equity is making sure everyone has what they need to be able to dance the dance. And so that's kind of how we talk to kids about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity is not giving everybody the same thing. It's about making sure they have what they need, and that's what we want to do. That's our goal. It's a busy time of year for our teachers. We kicked off Tuesday with an outside professional development session for our special education staff. We had 87 teachers that attended. Building 100 team did a great job pulling it off. They had outside stations, and the stations were all about their mental well-being, wellness, and resilience through the pandemic and coming back. And so they attended stations that gave them strategies for emotional resilience, psychological, workplace, interpersonal, and physical resilience. We've got great feedback, but that was the kickoff to our professional learning sessions. As you know, it's a busy time of year for teachers. They just don't go to the pool in the summertime. They are busy learning. This is when they sharpen the saw. And so the other thing our folks are doing in the schools, building principals and councils, are hiring those literacy aides that you approved. 28 literacy aides. Mr. Murphy and I will begin literacy coaching sessions this week. We're going to the principals to talk to them about how we're going to train them, how we're going to roll out their work. And then also on the consent agenda is a 130-day instructional coach who will solely be responsible for training these 28 new folks. It's a big job. So we're going to make sure our literacy structures are strong and will move us to where we need to go.
Sean, can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
Will that program mirror somewhat what we had before, Worcester?
Yes.
Okay.
When we had the two big binders, learning to read, ready to read, absolutely. So the aides, the 4 aides will push in to a grade level at one time, and every child will get a small guided reading group every single day at their level.
Each school be consistent with
Yes.
what another school, because that was a key component in that.
Absolutely.
Being successful.
Absolutely, it's a requirement, and I had said to them that these need to be successful positions if we're going to make them work and make them be able to show we can keep them. We have to show their worth. So we'll be tracking data along the way, every month. Only a couple more things. Virtual Learning Academy update. We have 64 total students. 59 of the virtual learning applications look like they're going to be from students who were successful in virtual. And then we had 2 first grade students. I'm not sure that we're ready to move forward with K-2 kids in the Virtual Learning Academy. We're still thinking about that. Final enrollment should be completed by June 30th, and we have 6 families who are still considering the virtual learning application, but want more time to consider. They're probably waiting to see what the COVID guidelines might be and talking to their child about what's the best fit for them in the fall. 4 teachers employed. Yes.
Were there a chunk that applied that you're like, not going for you?
Only, and what Dr. Masters is working on now is we've shared the list with principals and we're getting feedback from them, and we're going to we have to conduct phone interviews because our Google and our meets and our Zoom got canceled for summer. We're trying to save money, and so we just didn't think about that. So we're going to do phone interviews with the parents and should be making those announcements by June 30th. But we have about 59 kids and 4 teachers, and it ranges from grades 3 through 12. So pretty diverse group there. Let's see. I just wondered if you had any questions about any of the things I presented tonight, talked about, or something you want to see moving forward. For the 21-22 school year, I'd like to include a data piece every month share some piece of instructional data with you. I really feel like we're just piecing data together right now because everybody tested at different times and we made it through the year. We're ready for that comeback, so.
Absolutely.
Charlotte, first of all, thank you for being excited about what's going on. That's really exciting too. One thing I want to ask you all, and both you and Mr. Cobb as well, if we have any CARES money or the money that's been presented to us from the feds, is it possible that we could give it to our schools for supplies this coming year, because that will be a commitment we're making because we believe in our kids and cut the parents out as paying as much, but maybe a large amount of money given to all our schools for school supplies. I'm just throwing that out there.
You're saying like pencils, paper, those kind of things?
Yes.
Yes, we can definitely do that. I was going to share, Mr. Kopp and I, in my, one of the questions in a recent interview I had was, what was an argument you had with your current superintendent, and how'd you respond to that? And I thought, oh my goodness, nobody is listening to this. So I thought, what am I gonna say? So I pulled it together, but I said, we discussed our ESSER funds, and that he promised me that the 5.2 million that we just spent, because the first round of money was all spent on cleaning supplies and masks and all those things we need. And so I use that as an example, but we have pretty much allowed schools to submit to us the things they need in their building. And Mr. Cobb has worked with our teams to really try to make everything they've asked for happen. And you've seen it on the board meeting agendas. So they are submitting things that they need, but school supplies can definitely, that's a small thing. We can take care of that. So they don't send home the big list. Maybe we can make
That is
that.
at least not the day, 6 rolls of paper towels and the little kindergartners are walking in with all of these bags.
Because really, aren't we by law obligated to supply those instructional materials?
We do. I think they send them and none of them are required to send them. Some schools.
But they don't say that on that sheet of paper.
Right. So what we could maybe do is set aside an amount of money, ask the principals what it would cost to purchase the folders and the binders and the paper and the pencils and that kind of thing, and make sure they have it.
Absolutely, we can
Because if
do
you
that.
have 5 children, that you have to, now granted, I do know if they need a specific kind of a notebook that the kid wants, then that's the parent's obligation.
Right.
But straight flat out instructional materials,
We'll try to make that happen.
Yeah, we will, and the other thing we can do is we can talk to our local companies, Walmart, Kroger, et cetera. I think that they're very willing to help out this year with being post-pandemic as well, so maybe we can collaborate with them to do a kind of fill the bus type event where we not only purchase what we need, but they may be able to help us out as well. I think that's a very noble goal, is for us to not have to put out supply lists for students to bring in 100%
Especially right now.
agreement.
But parents actually think they're obligated to buy those things. And I would go up and down the aisle when I was at Walmart, and I'd say, you don't have to buy that. You don't need to buy that.
And Walmart, they love to put out the list. They
Oh,
love
yeah.
it. So,
They do, and I have a real problem.
Yeah.
any other questions?
I just you said 4 teachers for the virtual learning. Is that math,
2.
science, social studies, and English?
The way that it's set up, because it's virtual, in a virtual format, they can be certified, and we have 2 elementary, 1 middle, 1 high. And if they're housed in a building where they're around other teachers they can plan with, because they're in a virtual format, it's fine. So that's covered.
So Stephanie Wooldridge is doing all of the high school?
Yes.
If anybody can do it, she can.
Yes, she can.
Absolutely, if anybody can do it,
Yes.
she can.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like for you to repeat something. You went so fast on me, I couldn't write it
Sorry.
down. But it was good. I won't write it down, I won't use it. But you mentioned diversity and inclusion and equity.
Uh-huh.
You said the dance was for diversity.
Yeah.
I want that one. Say,
Diversity is the dance. Inclusion, all are invited to the dance. And equity is making sure everyone has what they need to be able to dance at the dance.
Equal is not equitable.
Hey, down there at that, conference, we seen the same thing. It showed us.
Yes, yeah, about equity, yeah.
There's also a slide about watching a baseball game.
Yes.
You might see that, yeah.
Mhm.
A kid can't see above the fence,
Right.
so you give them what they need to be
Yeah.
above.
Yeah, the tall guy, you don't need to do things that way, but maybe.
Just leveling the playing field.
That's right, that's right.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right.
Good, Charlotte.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next item is the superintendent report.
I just want to start by saying thank you to Charlotte and her instructional team. They've just been knocking it out of the park. We're really excited about the literacy aids. I also want to mention that we have posted positions for 8 social workers that you all approved to be spread out amongst our schools. 1 in each middle and high school, and then 1 for every 2 elementary schools. And we do have several applicants for those, so we're very excited about that and the possibility those will bring. I really just wanted to kind of touch on what Charlotte said there. Think about this word comeback. That's going to be the word that we're going to focus on. And a lot of our retreat is going to be focused on what that means for us. And we've got some really exciting things planned, and it's going to be a fantastic year upcoming. We're all very excited for it. So thank you for that. I'll keep my remarks short. So,
All right, I think the next item is the consent agenda.
the consent agenda is presented for your approval. The recommended motion is to approve of the consent agenda as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Well, Mark, did you want to explain some of those that you had talked to us about?
Sure, I can absolutely talk about a couple of things. Number one, we are asking your approval for on the consent agenda for, I'm trying to go down to the actual wording of it, but for one of our assistant principals at Western Hills High School for 10 extended days for this coming year for that person to help out in the maintenance department over the summer. Have a lot of projects going on, and it will be good leadership opportunity, and will just be for this school year. Frankly, it'll just be for this summer when we're going to need some coverage there. I do have the creation of a deputy superintendent position on there. Request approval of the attached job description. It will be a 240-day position, and really excited about the potential for that and what it can mean for us in terms of efficiency, helping in terms of evaluating, monitoring, that they're more effective and efficient. And I'll be glad to answer any other questions that you have.
The only question I have, Mr. Carlton, I wrote it down, I wasn't going to ask it, I was going to maybe talk first, but I think it's a good idea. The one that for the Elkhorn Middle School have a program called No Excuses University. It seems very interesting, but the question I had was, how are they going to measure the students' participation through whether they're going to do pre-test or post-test, and are the students going to be awarded at the end, whether they're going to go through career, are they going to go through college, or can they get rewarded for both? How they're going to show that they're going to be awarded? And that might not be a question to answer right now. They put a lot of emphasis on number 1 and 2 on what we call the college part, but I don't see very much on the career. So I just have questions. Are they going to be balanced out what's the college and career? It looks like there's more college to this.
I think it's probably more focused on college. However, I know that Mr. Roby and his team there are so excited about this. This is going to be really innovative in terms of, this will be the first of its kind of middle school in this area. And if you'd like, I can have Mr. Roby come and present at the very next board meeting about this particular program. We were going to wait till we kind of got kicked off on it, but we'd be more than glad to do that for you. When he brought it to us, and Charlotte had mentioned, we've spent just about all of that $5.2 million on instructional programs to help our students. And this was one of those that Mr. Rhodey brought to us and said, this is going to help our kids. And so I
I would
love
be more
those.
interested in hearing more about it, but that's.
I'll be glad to have Mr. Rhodey come. So if Jeff, you're watching out there, you're going to present in July.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay, all right. All in favor of the consent agenda indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, is there a
Madam
motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Night.